have not seen a crowd like this after lunch in quite some time, so thank you all for joining us for Centra's session. We're going to shift gears, and we have our next speaker coming to join us from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and Till is going to be speaking to us about HPE GreenLake for data services, the best of both worlds, touching on various benefits of data services available at HPE. So Till, please.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. Wow, big audience. Really happy to be here. It's actually, for me, after 4 years, the first time I couldn't be here last year, unfortunately. So I had the chance to quickly listen to the presentation before, talking about AI, which is actually a good segue into how every modern IT transformation presentation should start, which is talking about data, right? I think I don't have to explain to people in this room how important data has become for enterprises, right? That's what you need to run AI on. And I could speak about how HPE can help customers, enterprises to collect their data, bring it together, analyze it, data-centric architectures. We have some reference architectures and experts around it. How to build an AI machine learning platform that allows data scientists to basically get their tools easily accessible and so on. But what we see out there is actually, we talk a lot about kind of the second wave of data-first modernization and what you could do with data. Reality is, a lot of companies are still more on the first wave, right? IT modernization. How do I deal with the complexity that I've inherited, the different silos of infrastructure, and not yet really able to focus on a more data-centric approach, right? Now, the cloud has brought a promise to all of us. And I think we all have to, you could say, thank you, the pioneers and the big public cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and others, to show us how simple an agile IT infrastructure can be, right? Now, I think the other reality in the meantime is that we've all realized that there is not one solution, right? And that IT in a data center, that doesn't mean kind of in a data center owned by the company. It could be a co-location, could be at, where there is a lot of you in the room, some type of service provider, dedicated shared environments. But that kind of on-premise infrastructure will still have an important role, play an important role in those mixed hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environments, right? Because of data sovereignty, because of generally data, and data has gravity. You might have to process data closer to where it's created, performance requirements, and ultimately also costs, right? Because I think that's also a realization that kind of public cloud doesn't necessarily mean it's cheaper, right? So I think the industry has responded, and I've seen the agenda, you've seen the agenda, a lot of hybrid cloud, multi-cloud presentations out here, that we need to help, and you probably need to deal with multiple clouds, right? And we want to really have that cloud experience independent of where the environment, the infrastructure of the solution runs. Now, reality is, probably everyone, including HPE, over the last years you spoke to, will tell you, we have our solution, our product, our cloud does provide you with a cloud experience, right? The problem is, it's a cloud experience for one solution, you get the next one and the next one and the next one. So what you end up with is, again, complexity. it's a different level of complexity in a different environment, but it's still complexity, right? You still end up in silos where data is stuck in different clouds and different solutions and not easily movable or not at all or at high cost. And honestly, I think that's why we're in IT. You're still managing, often with a lot of labor-intensive requirements, a lot of different environments. You have a lot of pieces of software. If you look at an entire IT infrastructure landscape, including also public clouds and everything, there's a lot to maintain, manage, keep track of, which on its own is already a risky thing, right? Complexity is the biggest enemy of security. How can you provide a secure environment, secure IT, if you don't have a single security framework, disaster recovery concept? You don't even have a complete view of the environment, right? And that's really where Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, HPE, we've embarked a couple of years ago on building what we call an edge-to-cloud platform with HPE GreenLake, which is basically to bring together and integrate all those different clouds, starting obviously to provide one experience for our own infrastructure, networking, compute, storage, and so on, with workload orchestration and AI and security frameworks around it. But more importantly, to build it in an open fashion so you can integrate, we can integrate, other solution partners, technology partners, or cloud partners, be it the big public cloud providers, right? Or be it just solution partners that have a specific solution for an environment, right? To ultimately provide that one cloud experience, which in the back consists of, a lot of clouds. Now that sounds very theoretically, so I might title my presentation, HPE GreenLake for Data Services, because I wanted to just briefly touch on some examples and make it real, right? If you just look at the storage or data services element of the HPE Green Cloud Console, you see a little bit of a screenshot here, which basically shows how things are come together. If you kind of are a customer using HPE GreenLake Cloud Platform, you can go into data service. You find all these tiles for the different data service, classic ones, block, backup and recovery, HCI, disaster recovery, and more to come shortly. Actually, even in 2 weeks, you'll probably hear about some news here. But more importantly, this is not just bringing together the HPE infrastructure, because next to it you also find compute and networking and other things. But it also starts integrating, as I said, partners and like the public cloud, right? For instance, you're able to define backup policies that span across, VMs, for instance, that can run on your own on-premise HPE gear, on third-party gear, or, for instance, AWS, right? And using the HCI manager, you then provision VMs with such a backup policy, and basically then just choosing where do you want to spin it up on, right? On HPE gear, on third-party gear, in the public cloud, for instance, right? And another example of that multi-cloud kind of capability is what we call HPE GreenLake for Disaster Recovery, or Zerto, basically a company we acquired a couple of years ago, which provides data mobility and disaster recovery really across clouds, right? And that is across, you see all the logos at the bottom, public clouds, all the big providers, but also any on-premise infrastructure, so VMs you run, on-premise, on whatever, infrastructure below, or also similarly for containers, right? And it does that in a very smart way using a technology called journaling or continuous data protection, CDP, which is something that Zerto really pioneered a lot of years ago, which basically allows you, in case of a disaster, to just jump back in a couple of hours, a couple of days, instantaneously at really a granularity of seconds, right? So if you, for instance, had a ransomware attack, you can basically immediately jump back to a certain point in time, bring the environment up, check, are you good? Can you do something with that? If not, you just immediately jump back another hour or another day or something like that. And it does that in a smart way, in an application-centric way, which means it does it for a whole application landscape. So the biggest problem with any type of recovery is you can pretty easily recover data stores, VMs, or whatever individually, right? But how do you bring a whole application back with whatever, web servers that depend on databases, on application servers, on file servers, and other data in the back? How do you bring that together consistently to a given point in time? And that is something that HPE GreenLake for disaster recovery can do. Basically, I have a colleague of mine that always compares that with how do you get all the family members smile at the same point in time on a family picture? And I guess everyone that has tried to take a family picture knows what I mean. It's really difficult, but Zerto does that, right? So again, one other example where, with the HPE GreenLake cloud platform, we're embarked on a journey to help you bring together all those clouds, really not just limiting to we're on HPE infrastructure and buy our products, which we, by the way, obviously love and want to work with you on, but really integrating partners, technology partners, service partners, cloud partners into that to provide that one experience and that one simplification, which ultimately then helps enterprises to get what I showed in the beginning, to be able to focus on that data-centric innovation, where we all want to get to, right? We all want to use, technologies to analyze data, create value out of it for our own companies, for our customers, etc. So that was just a quick extract, kind of 10 minutes. Really encourage you to come see us at the booth, right? There's a lot of experts also in other topics. If you want to talk product, we can also talk product. We have experts there. If you want to see a server or something. We have some more sessions coming up on different topics. But really engage with us, because I think we're on a really interesting journey here to help you bring together a lot of things here and remove complexity that all holds us back. Right? With that, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so Till, you gave us a great talk here, but if you could give everybody here one takeaway to take with them, not even an elevator pitch, you got one sentence, what's the takeaway?
Really think about, multi-cloud has to be one cloud experience. It can't be multiple clouds, because then you're back to complexity.
All right, and now I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Okay, you ready for this? In a little bit.
We didn't train that before.
No, in a little bit, I'm going to be going over to the arena stage, and I've got the panel's called Making Multi-Cloud Happen, and I've got a panel of 5 people. OVH is there, Supermicro is there, a bunch of people are there. I'm going to let you ask them a question. You give me a question to take to my other panel.
I think it comes back to the multi-cloud. How can you help actually make multi-cloud really reality and easy for people, instead of just providing one little pillar?
Done. Perfect. Thank you very much,
Thank
Till.
you.
I appreciate your time. Everyone, Till, thank you again.
Thank you.